What's up, everybody? My name is Tim Roswick, and today I want to talk about why games are never really finished. Because they're not. They're just an unlimited amount of work to do forever. You just got to keep working and working and working. And literally, if you wanted to add stuff till the end of time, you could do that. You could keep adding your game. And here's what I mean. Games are works of art, right? And what you add into a game, or what you add as a feature or build, or anything that you want to add to it, is up to you, right? There's no perfect version of the game. Whereas, like, if you're building a piece of software, for example, the minimum version of the software might be just your ability to get the thing done or to speed up the task or whatever it is, and you can measure that with time. But with a game, it's about entertainment. It's about making something that's fun. But there's no real endpoint to that. There's no right decision, right? Like, if you're making a piece of software and one thing saves you a half hour and does the same thing, right? You can measure the time. You can say, okay, this is the right decision based on our objectives. But with a game, you can't say this doesn't do it. There's a lot of emotional stuff there. There's a lot of UX, user experience stuff there. There's a lot of stuff that has nothing to do with anything that you would add. There's a lot of things you put in the game intentionally to slow the player down or to get in the way or become an obstacle, whereas in software you would remove those. But games can never really be finished. And that's the problem for creative people, because we can keep adding to them, right? I'm 3.5 years into my game at the point, Phalophobia. It's ridiculous, and I've learned this lesson the hard way. It's never going to be finished. I'm never going to consider it finished. It's just going to be good enough to be launched, right? And that's what a lot of people got to think about. Games are never really finished. They're just good enough to put out, to launch, right? Because a lot of times we like to keep adding stuff. We get shiny object syndrome, both with our project, we like to find a new project, or with feature set in our project. Like, we like to add a bunch of new features. And if you don't stay focused, it's really easy to turn a 3-month game or a weekend game into 3 years, right? Because you can just keep adding stuff. So you have to be disciplined in that regard. You have to have deadlines. You have to have specific feature sets or milestones, either time-based or whatever system that you use, to limit yourself, right? Because yes, there's always another feature that you could add. Yes, that little animation could be better. Yes, you could spend more time modeling or creating assets or whatever it is. Yes, there's a little tiny bug that nobody will notice, and you could fix that. It'll take you 20 hours, but you know what? Maybe those 20 hours are better spent doing something else. Localization, right? Some boring stuff, but that's going to benefit a lot of people. Because games are never really finished. And I didn't realize this until I started meeting people that worked in AAA, because I always thought, you know, I'm an indie game developer. I do things weird, and all these AAA guys, they got it figured out, right? The guys that made Halo, Bungie, they got it figured out. The guys that made Borderlands, they got it figured out. But I started meeting some of these people at GDC and in different events and stuff, and they were just as terrified as we were. Like, oh no, we wanted to add that one thing in, but we never made it. Oh no, we wanted to add that thing in. And what I started realizing, especially with Halo, because I talk about Halo a lot, Halo inspired me to start making games. There was so much stuff that got cut from Halo 2, right? They had to cut that game practically in half, right? Same thing with Destiny. I play Destiny a lot. That game got cut 10 different slices of sideways, right? And they released all the different content and DLCs because they ran out of time. They didn't have time to put it out. And no, they didn't launch with a great game. And I'm not advocating that you launch with a shitty game and make it better over time. What I'm saying is that games can never technically be finished. You're never going to type on a keyboard for 2 years and one day go like, yep, it's finished. It's done. It's all good. There's never going to be a point like that. Right? So sometimes you just have to say, I'm going to launch this when, put a point there. I'm going to launch this on this date, and whatever gets done, right? And you got to prioritize. Sometimes you just have to think ahead like that. And honestly, that's what I'm doing. Phalophobia, I got to be completely honest. I could use another year at this point, right? I'm 3 months from launch-ish. I got 3 months to finish the game. It launches in February. Right now it's late September. I still have to do a whole month of marketing on top of that. I'm not at the point where I should be. But I know that the game has to launch, right? I delayed it a year. I don't feel like it's ever going to be finished. I could add stuff to it forever. But I'm going to launch it in February, whether I feel like it's done or not. And maybe I'll add stuff later. Maybe I'll add on to it. I'll add some quality of life features. I'll add some progression systems or whatever I feel like the user base needs after launch, whatever I feel like is missing from the lack of game. But at the end of the day, I'm going to launch it because I know that this game will never be finished for me. I will never say this is finished. Yes, it's good enough. It will be constant feature adding until the end of time. And so sometimes you just got to do that. So wherever you're at in your projects, I hope you know your deadlines, your milestones, your objectives. I hope you know the endpoint. I hope you can see it. I hope if you can't see it, that you work backwards and try and build something out of it, right? Pick something and make it happen, because you can end up in the abyss of never, ever, ever launching anything because it's never finished. And I think that's a cop-out, personally. I have a strong opinion on this. I feel like hiding in that unfinished state and constantly adding stuff is a cop-out, because you don't want to face the marketing. You don't want to face the scary stuff. You don't want to face the reviews. You don't want to face the players. I know, because that's how I feel, right? For me, delaying a game another year would be a cop-out. It would be me saying, no, I don't want to face... I don't want to put this out, so it's easier for me to just keep working on it in silence rather than have people tell me their thoughts or possibly tear it apart, right? It's scary. It's terrifying. So just make sure that you're not doing it because you're scared. Make sure you're doing it because the game needs it. And I hope you make a fantastic game. I hope you push it out there and it's fantastic. But at the end of the day, you've got to decide when it's finished. It's up to you, nobody else. And you got to decide, either based on a timeline or a feature set, when that time comes. Nobody's going to say, oh, the game's finished. There's not going to be a little alert message on your screen that's going to say, boop, game's finished, 100% done, boom, and then you can ship it. That's not going to happen. So that's my message for today. I hope you found it useful. If you did, leave me a thumbs up and a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. Have you struggled with this before? You have trouble finding out when your game is technically finished? Let me know down in the comments. Once again, my name is Tim Roswick, and I will see you again tomorrow.